Hey peeps, I'm back, and as you can see I'm a little bit more together than I was in my last video. So I thought, well, I'm feeling a bit more emotionally stronger, a bit more together. So I thought, yeah, I would take this opportunity to update you all a little bit on the situation, and yeah, also document my progress a month later. But first of all, I would actually like to thank everyone that did comment and show their love and support in my last video. It was a small comfort in the dark time, and I do appreciate the love and the empathy and the fact that you all watched and you listened to my story. It does mean a lot. You know, Kaylee wasn't here for very long, but she mattered, she existed, and it's wonderful that you all helped to acknowledge that, so thank you. And also apologies for the quality of the editing of the last video. My editor broke, and for some reason every time I went to preview it just crashed, so I had to kind of wing it on the sound levels, so it wasn't brilliant, but it's up there anyway, so I'm just going to leave it there, and appreciate anyone that does endure it and show support, so thank you for that. But yeah, making the first video did get me thinking, so here I am making another video, and yeah, so where to begin, because to be honest, the whole process is just it's chaos. I mean, it's still chaos now, but I must admit, when it initially happened, the shock, the disbelief, the storm in your head, it's just crazy, because from going to the ultimate high, you hit the ultimate low. And that's really something that doesn't transition all too comfortably, I can tell you that much. I mean, yeah, grief, huh? Grief. But it's a whole other level when you're burying your child, when this is your child, you lose a child, you know. I guess it's the whole adage, no parent should ever have to bury a child, but the fact of the matter is we do. And I'm pretty sure that everyone that has lost a child has had that same thought just play over in their head, you know. It shouldn't be like this. And no, it shouldn't be right like this, but the fact is, it is. And as brutal as that reality is, it's also something that you need to learn to accept. It never makes it easier, it doesn't make the pain go away, but facts are facts, and you can't really argue with it. Well, I mean, you can, but it's going to be futile. I mean, it's not going to achieve anything. The result is still going to be the same. So, yeah. So, how I coped, I guess. And I think the one of the first questions that I asked myself was, how long? How long does it take to even begin to feel normal? And obviously my first instinct was to go away and read and listen and learn about other people's experiences, and that in itself was very sobering. I mean, I learned the statistic 1 in 4, you know, and I thought, wow, surely that can't be right. 1 in 4, that's 25% of all pregnancies. That's a high number, but it's something that's really not talked about enough, because it's also the same reaction. Because when I brought up the statistic in conversation with people, their reactions was, oh no, that can't be the Western world. Our medicine is too good. Our hospitals are still so sophisticated that can't be right. But you go away and you fact checked, and yeah, that's just the reality. Whether people want to accept it or not, that haven't gone through it, that's down to them. Maybe ignorance really is bliss on that one, and unless you don't have to worry about it, why worry about it? Why? But yeah, at the same time, it kind of makes you a little bit insensitive to the situation because you don't really want to acknowledge the brutal reality. And yeah, so I went away and I looked up these videos. I saw so many brave women on YouTube or writing in the blogs, just breaking down, wearing their hearts on their sleeves. And in a strange way it helped, because as awful as it is, it makes you realize that you're just not alone. And people do understand and people do empathize, and you're not this weird pariah that lost their baby, that this is something that happens, and this is so many people's realities. So that brought comfort. I mean, I can't encourage you enough to go and, well, when you're ready, of course, to learn, to hear, to listen, to reach out to people that do understand what it is to lose a child. I mean, it doesn't stop the pain, no. But it kind of transforms the pain into something a little bit more healthier. I don't know how to really describe it. It's kind of a weird feeling, but I guess anyone in the similar situation would sort of understand what I'm saying when I say this. So, how long does it take to feel normal from what I've been seeing, what I've been feeling, what I've been hearing? That really all depends, because this isn't a normal situation. This is as abnormal and unnatural as it comes. The natural process is the old the old are buried by the young. So it's not normal. You just simply need to find a new normal. You need to go through your process, and eventually you'll find it, providing you take the steps to move on and you don't find yourself stuck, which so many people unfortunately do. I mean, I'm far from through it. I don't know if I'll ever get stuck, but from what I've been hearing from people, I seem to be doing okay. So if there's no concern from people, I guess I'm doing okay. You know, and what I felt and thought after I lost her, wow, that's something that was also very chaotic, because I think I kind of went through the whole 5 stages and then back again, and then I jumped around, and I found myself getting angry and resentful. As horrible as it sounds, as selfish as it sounds, but I found myself resenting all the parents that have children and simply don't appreciate what they have. I mean, I'm not chalking it down to anyone suffering with postnatal depression or any sort of mental illness, but I'm talking about the parents that have children and neglect them, or they end up getting taken away because the parents just are so self-absorbed and are too busy living their own lives, kind of thing. I mean, I'm not going to start judging, but we all know that some people really shouldn't be parents, and that's mainly where my anger was, of all the people for it to happen to, why does it happen to the ones that so desperately want it? But again, I found myself also telling myself that, well, asking why is futile, because there is no why. It just is, I mean, we've all said it, we've all heard it. Life isn't fair. Well, this is the very epitome of it. Life really isn't fair. So asking why, that's something you'll never get an answer to. And telling myself that has also helped, because in a way it's stopped me dwelling so much on the things that you can't change. But it's enabled me to start to focus on things that I can change. And that also has helped, because you find yourself taking more and more positive steps then, as small as they may be, as slow as they may be. But you're almost like dragging yourself forward, because you're still here and you still have that willingness to go on. So you just keep moving forward, even if it is little by little. And I also felt guilt. Obviously it was the big question, did I do anything wrong? Because the way Kaylee died, it still is a huge mystery. I mean, we still haven't heard back from the second round of tests from the autopsy. I mean, we heard back that the first round they done, just it turned up nothing. They still don't know what killed her, but they do know that it wasn't anything externally that she might have picked up from anyone, from any equipment, from anything in the hospital. It was, all we know is whatever killed her, it came from within, and that helped a little bit, because that took away the guilt of maybe being responsible. And in a way it kind of sounds selfish to think, did I cause this death? Is it on me? Rather than focusing on the fact that your child is no longer here. But I guess it's kind of human nature to be a little bit selfish from time to time, and we do think about ourselves, whether we want to admit it or not. But it helps knowing that it wasn't from our hands or anything. You almost feel paralyzed. Like you can't. Everything seems pointless. So why bother? I made a habit, and I said to my husband that we need to not fall apart, because we have been through so much together. We can find the strength to get through this together. So I said to him, and we kind of agreed amongst each other, that if we do nothing else, get dressed, get washed, make food, and if we're really feeling energetic, maybe do the dishes, just do the basic things. And I found that we found ourselves biting the bullet fairly easy. Well, not easy. I wouldn't say it was easy. It was quite difficult, but we jumped in quite soon with biting the bullet. We went to the shop a couple of days afterwards, and although that doesn't sound like nothing, it was something huge. Because when you're in this void, this vacuum, everything is a struggle. And I was sat thinking, we were both sat thinking, oh my God, what if we run into someone we know? Then we've got to be awkward and break the bad news, and I'm not up for breaking down and causing a public display. And how am I going to cope with them feeling sad? And yeah, there's just so many random rushing thoughts going through your head over the silliest of things, but we psyched ourselves up for a couple of hours, and then we decided we were going to do it, so we both went out, and I kid you not, the moment we step outside our door, someone is driving by, a friend of ours, and they see us and they honk their horn. They pull up and they jump out of their car and they're like, "Hey, how are the happy parents?" And we just broke, and he just looked heartbroken for us, and we just kind of stood right outside of our house hugging and crying and just, telling him what had happened. And it was raining, but we still got into the car and we went to the shop, and I found myself braking a couple of times because we went to this section where the fish is, and I hadn't been able to have shellfish while I'd chosen to not eat shellfish, even if it was quote unquote safe throughout the pregnancy. And my husband, he said, "Yeah, shall we get some fish?" And I literally found myself thinking, "Oh, I can't, I'm pregnant." And then I realised I wasn't, and I broke. Right in the shop, I just broke. And we were there looking like zombies, teary, emotional zombies. And we went through that shop and we picked up the few things we needed. We paid, we got looked at, we got stared at. We saw kids and our hearts broke, and we got through it and we got home, and it was so draining. It literally felt like we had just gone and done a full session at the gym. It just hurt emotionally, it hurt physically, and it drained the life from us, but we done it. And we also learned something from it. We also learned that, okay, we've been to the shop once, that's the most difficult. We can do it again, and it got a little bit easier, but we also decided that the sooner that at least our inner network knew, the better. So we started letting people know, and those people started letting people know. And you have to tell the story over and over again, and that's just, it's the most draining thing in the world. But we got the message out, we got the grapevine up, and that was done pretty early. We got people to help us spread the word, so we didn't have to keep reliving it and retelling it, especially when we were feeling so delicate at that time. And people got together, they really helped, they really rallied, and we can't really thank our friends enough for being so supportive and wonderful in that time. So I can't stress enough how important it is to draw on the people that matter, that care, that want to help, because although you may not realise it, even them just being there can help. Even if they're just listening, even if it's something small like, can you go to the shop, or get drinks, or make me a cup of tea. It all helps. So just be there, be loving, and be willing to accept that love and support, which is something we done. And again, it doesn't take the pain away, but it helps. And just keep in mind that I know I'm still very fresh, and I'm still at the beginning of my journey, and it's only been a month, but I'm already feeling stronger. I'm positive. I'm able to be positive when I can, even if those days are far and few between. But there are days when you cry less, there are days where you feel it less, even after such a short time. And if you can actually function even a little bit, it's something. And eventually you'll be able to feel and function more. And there's no time limit on this. There is no time limit on this. You've just got to take it at your own pace and feel it, as I'm doing. You know, when I'm okay, I'm okay. But when it hits me, or when I'm feeling depressed or sad or angry, because you can flip between any of those stages at any moment, and they can last anything from a minute to a few days to a few months. Well, it hasn't been a few months for me, but yeah, usually it lasts. We go on an hourly, daily basis. But I feel it when I can, and I try not to bury those feelings, because grief is messy, but it's necessary. And you can't bury it, you can't ignore it, because in order to feel grief, you must have been able to feel something so profoundly deep. So in its own way, it's beautiful. You can't feel this much pain without feeling so much love, without feeling something special. So embrace it, feel it, let it ride. And when you have the strength, take an extra step forward. Don't time yourself, don't rush yourself. Just take it as it comes. I'm sorry if I've waffled a little bit in this video. I kind of freestyle, so I know roughly what I want to say, but I don't write a script. So if the videos go on a little bit longer than they should, which this one actually has, it's a very long video, I do apologise for the rambling anyway, but I hope what I said helps, and I'll make some more videos on different topics, so maybe those can also help people, and it'll also be fun for me to look back on as well, to, like I said, just see how I've done and how far I've gone along the way. So thank you for watching, if you've stuck around to this point, and much love and strength, and I'll see you soon. Take care, and thanks for watching.